What is up, guys? Soren here, back for another episode of Soren Says. Today, we have a very important topic I want to get going. Some of you may have watched my Humans Are Trash video, and I really want to do more of those tier lists, but they are intimidating. Mainly because of the issue we're going to talk about today. Information about this game, about Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced specifically. Regular Tactics, not an issue. There's tons of resources, they're mostly correct. That game gets a little more flexible because of how the progression system works with just bravery and faith and things like that. Tactics Advanced relies heavily on the growth charts. And until this point, I've been using a growth chart on the wiki, or at least one of the wikis, and I assumed it works. I'm not going to sit here and test it for 50 levels. I've thought about it. I should be able, and you should be able, to count on it being right. And it turns out most of them are wrong for two reasons. One, the way the growth chart works, and I just recently found this out from talking to someone on Facebook. On the growth chart, we have numbers like 2.4 or 1.7. And in my head, as a game designer, as a programmer, that said to me that it was storing it as a float value. As in, yes, we're displaying it as like 57, but really it's stored in the player character as 57.5. And then when you level up again, it overflows to the next one. I've been playing a lot of RuneScape as an example. You'll have an action that's like 37.5 experience, right? And so the first time you see the pop-up for experience, it'll be 37, but the second time it'll be 38 because it stored that 0.5. Apparently that's not how Final Fantasy Tactics Advance works. You get the whole number, and then the rest after the decimal is a chance to get a bonus number. And if you don't get the bonus number, it just flattens. And I think that is wild. I've wanted to make runs dedicated to, maximizing a certain stat and, spoiler alert, speed, number one stat in the game. Your opponents don't care about your attack and defense if you kill them first. But because of this misinformation, I apologize. I'm sure my Humans Are Trash video is now outdated due to this new information. And I will put in the link in the description the growth chart that we're now going to be using. It looks pretty solid. Because of this weird percentage of progression, I feel like it promotes save scumming. If you know what that is, basically you go in and you look for a result, and if you don't get the result, you just reload the save and hope for the result again. And this happens a lot in a lot of games like this with real progression and chance. Apparently, a huge portion of the Fire Emblem community does this. When I tried to do my first Shadow Dragon playthrough, which I want to get back to, but I lost the save, so it's really frustrating to have to start over. If anyone's wondering about that, that's what happened there. I started playing with the intention that if a character died, it's a permadeath game. So if a character died, whatever. And apparently that's so outrageously challenging to the community that they call it like an Iron Man mode. And I feel like that was just how the game was designed, so that was kind of weird. But in the same way, I feel like this is kind of how that is, where if you're really trying to min-max, you're going to have to. You're going to have to save scum. You're going to have to reload saves and plan around not getting optimal scaling if you're really trying to get like the most speed, which the guy I was talking to on Facebook was trying to do, and he got some crazy numbers. It makes me really want to play again. But yeah, I just thought it was really interesting. I wanted to make sure that it was clear that if you noticed anything weird about my tier lists before, my comments in the future, that I wasn't aware. And honestly, I've said it before, where there is very little real information about this game on the internet. And we might need to go through and kind of collectively adapt that. We need to create like a comprehensive wiki, let's say, something dynamic, something people can contribute to, that kind of thing. We'll see how that goes. We'll see if that's even reasonable. If it is, then cool. We might actually get some real fixing here, and so people can actually get into the game on a real level. I feel like we're back in the game facts days. Your friend had a strategy guide, and unless you got along with that person and they let you borrow it, you were fumbling around in the dark. I didn't know it was still the 90s. According to how the internet treats this game, it might as well be. Let me know what you think. Should games, here we go, game design side of it, should games be this cryptic? I understand in a lot of games that are very straightforward, a lot of games, modern games, will keep to the integer value. They'll keep to whole numbers. You see what you get, you know what you're going to get, and that's great. Should games have this hidden element of chance when progressing? I personally think that there's a point of it that's really cool, but there's also a risk of forcing feel bad moments. You build up a character, and especially in Etheric, it's going to be online, so there's not going to really be save scumming. So I think think in that game we're going to try and make it as straightforward as possible. Some of these games thrive on that. And so I'm wondering, what do you think? Is chance like that in a progression system, in a system that should be under the player's control, should that be allowed? Is that a good thing? Is that healthy for the game? Is save scumming worth it? I'd really be curious what your take is on it, and let me know down in the comments. That's my rant. I thought it was really interesting, and I wanted to clarify that in the future, as we do more rants, as we do tier lists, as we talk about things in Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced, that I will be using the new chart. I will be hopefully not giving misinformation, and that I will be working on as a side project, a side project. So if anyone's interested in helping, let me know, of getting a wiki together, because if we end up doing the Tactics Advanced remake, which is still on my radar, I'm working on some other projects, so it might be like, once again, a side project. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a fantastic day, fantastic week, fantastic life, and I hope to see you in the next episode of Soren Says.